My name is Thomas O'Regan, and over the last 3.5 years, me and my wife have built a large residential property portfolio. We built it up to 11 properties, and today I just wanted to go through one of the critical points of being successful in building a large property portfolio. This point of being successful is the people you employ to manage your property. And the truth is, you don't need to employ anyone to manage your property. You can manage all your properties yourself. But for me and for most people, managing properties is kind of stressful. And the fee that you'll pay, depending on where you are, where I am in Australia, the states in Australia there's a different range of price points for property management fees, but broadly over all states, you can get property management from anywhere from about 4% up until 11% or even more. And where I live in New South Wales, it's about 5 to 6%. Victoria is a little bit higher, and then Perth and Queensland are typically the highest property management fees you can pay. But the point of this video is to make you guys understand that managing properties is stressful, and you want to distance yourself as far away from that as you possibly can. And I'm not saying just forget about it and pretend it's something that doesn't need to happen. It 100% needs to happen, and it's a critical thing that needs to happen. Your properties need to be managed properly. Tenants need to be paying rent. You need to get good tenants, and if there's any issues, somebody needs to handle that. But what I'm saying is, you just want to pick the best property managers you possibly can to handle those issues. And how you're going to do that is by interviewing a lot of people. And the truth is, when you interview a lot of people, yes, you are more likely to find a better property manager, but you probably won't know 100% if they're the best property manager until you see them do their work. And that won't, and nothing will happen until an issue comes up. And then that's the difference when an issue comes up and how the property manager handles it. That's the difference between a good property manager and a bad one. Okay, so you typically, as soon as, for me, if I ever interview a property manager and they go well, and then an issue comes up and they're really just dropping the ball, and when I say dropping the ball, I mean making whatever the issue is, making me handle the entire issue. I'm not the property manager. I pay for the property manager to handle the issues, so I don't get caught up in that stuff. But if the property manager just handballs the issue to me and goes, look, you just deal with this, then I know already they're the wrong property manager. Because the reality is, 99% of the time, the property manager doesn't have to do much at all. It's a very easy job when there's no issues, obviously. But when the issue comes up, that's when it counts. That is when it counts, when you have a property manager. They deal with the issues. If you have 11 properties like me and there's 11 issues at one time, and I didn't have a property manager, I would pull all my hair out and it would be a terrible experience. I would not have the time to focus on keeping my eye on the ball, keeping my eye on the prize. And as a property investor, your job is to keep your eye on the prize. The prize is building the property portfolio as large as you possibly can. And managing the properties is just a side piece. It doesn't matter. It's not going to grow your property portfolio any larger, no matter how well you manage your properties. It's just a byproduct of building a large property portfolio. Pay somebody to handle that, the property manager, and the point is, pay a good property manager to handle it. And if they're not good, then move on and get another one. Because most management agreements, they're usually month to month, meaning if you're not happy with their service, you can just cancel the contract and find another property manager that will do that job. And if you're employing a different new property manager and they're not you know getting the job done, then just move on again. It's kind of hard, it's kind of brutal, but trust me, you want good property managers, because the difference between a good one and a bad one is, you know, about 50 phone calls a year versus, five. Some of the properties that I have, there's been issues. They've been resolved very quickly by the property manager. I haven't had to get involved, and there's just been five you know, quite pleasant phone calls over the whole year of me owning the property, just to check in and give me updates on what's happening overall as a big picture, with the property. Other property managers, you have to call them all the time because they're not bad property managers. I mean, you have to call them all the time, stay on top of them, and make sure they're doing what they should be doing so it doesn't all go to shambles. And seriously, like, that is going to kill your investment journey. That is going to destroy your drive to build a large portfolio if you're actually paying someone and then you're doing their job for them, as well. So, key to building a large property portfolio, get a good property manager, and if they're no good, move on. All right, cheers, guys. Bye.